Hello, everybody. Welcome to the More Sugar Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Calendar, and as always, I would like to thank everyone for joining me. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for sharing, and thank you for all your feedback regarding the More Sugar Podcast. It's been an amazing ride. It's going great. The only problem that I have right now with myself is that I do not record enough episodes. And that is my own fault. That is because, um, for one, I've been reading a lot, which takes a lot of my time. And for two, I'm just not holding myself accountable. And I need to do more of that. I need to actually set a recording schedule so that way I know what is required of me in the space of what I want to accomplish around this podcast. Because, in all honesty, I cannot accomplish what I want to accomplish recording once a month. Now, I have a lot of things in my brain, conversations and things I want to talk about, and they just sometimes get lost in the moment. I'm not executing on the right opportunities, and I just want to apologize and I blame myself. But in learning that, in discovering that about myself, I think that I'm hard on myself on in that aspect, but on the other aspect, I've never in my 48 years, I've been working since I was 16 years old, and I've never in my 48 years, uh, well, I would say 30 years of working, had this much free time. And honestly, I'm just reveling in it. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I'm reading. I'm learning about a lot about myself. I'm learning more about my son. I'm learning more about my wife. I'm learning a lot about business. I'm doing research for some future business endeavors. I'm making mistakes along the way, and I'm correcting them all the while working, blogging, working on another book, and making sure our son, his academics stay up to par. As you all know, we relocated to Virginia Beach. He's in a very advanced school, so things are a lot different. So his education and his development are key, our number one priority. So spending that quality time with him, making sure he gets his work done and that he socializes properly is my number one focus. And then I learned that we just came back from vacation with our family group, our tribe, and a couple of conversations came up, and I missed the opportunity to pull out the microphone. My wife always say I'm slow rolling, but I did miss a couple opportunities to pull out the microphone. But one thing that we constantly talked about as a group was communication. Communication within relationships mainly, communication in friendships, communication at work, just communication. And then communication can be verbal, communication can be electronic. I always say, I always got this running joke about when you send an email to somebody, the proper etiquette in that. And for me right now, communication is very crucial in how I communicate with my son. He's 6 years old and he understands a lot. And so I want to be clear in my expectations of him. And also is very crucial at this point in my marriage. We are going we're going on 20 something years, and 20 something, and over that long period of time, people change. And so when people change and they grow, sometimes they grow in different areas of their lives at different times. So I really think that communication is important. A lot of times my goals, dreams, and aspirations have changed from 5 years ago, from 10 years ago, and maybe so have my wife's. But as long as there is communication along the way, it's what kind of keeps us together. And so I've been focusing on that, and I've what helped me. I used to be a very bad communicator. I used to shut down. I didn't want to talk, especially when she wasn't saying things that I wanted to hear, or when things wasn't going my way. And that's not just in my marriage. That's with friendships. And I'm like that with my son. I'm a toddler at times. If he say things I don't want to hear, I don't want to talk to him. Not that I'm saying that that's the right thing. That's just the way I'm learning. And that's just to say that we never stop learning. We never stop growing. And we never stop understanding the dynamics of other people. And we never stop learning different ways to communicate. Hence me reading more. And I attribute that to not wanting to use so much vulgar, so many vulgar words. I was beginning to see that when I get angry and I communicate, I was tending to raise my voice a lot, and I was tending to sometimes use profanity a lot, and that's because I didn't have the words to express myself. Believe it or not, as a writer, as a writer, when I have something in my mind, whenever I get an idea to blog, I know what I want to write about. I know the exact sentiment that I want to convey because that thought is in my mind and that feeling is in my heart. And so I work to convey that feeling to the reader. But a lot of times in disagreements and heated arguments, and again, this isn't just with my wife, this is just with people in general. If that disagreement comes unexpectedly and it's especially like off the cuff, then I tend to my thoughts tend to get lost, my words tend to get lost, and I will curse, and I will say mean things, and I will not get my point across. And I started to believe that that was attributed to that I needed to expand my thinking, and honestly, I'm not ashamed to say my vocabulary. And so, in doing that, in my free time, instead of honestly, instead of this is all transparency here. Instead of constantly recording podcasts, I was in prayer a lot. I've been praying a lot and reading a lot, which helped me reconcile with myself, things about myself. And that's something that people rarely do. People rarely hold themselves accountable and look in mirrors and say, you need to change this, you need to change that. And that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been kind of holding myself accountable for not showing up where I should be showing up, not committing to a day and a time where I should be recording this podcast, because this is what God called me to do. He called me to have these discussions, and sometimes I can't sleep at night because the I want to rest, but I haven't begun to scratch the surface of the purpose and the mission that He put me on. So it's been like an internal battle. So I just been like taking some time to read and to read different things. I've been reading about parenting. I've been reading scriptures, and not necessarily reading the Bible, but spiritual books, right? Because the Bible was written at a time when it would be. There's always been someone to interpret the Bible for current times. And a lot of times I don't always want to read something that requires a translator. Sometimes I want to read it and get the message. So sometimes I'll just be stumbling and read and stumble through it and get what I can out of it, or I just find other spiritual things, other ways to connect to God. And thankfully that's been silent prayer. Um, that's been quiet walks, and that's been pillow conversations with my wife. We where we moved, we have the bathroom in the master bedroom has a window, and the window is a direct view of the moon. So currently I can take a bath, lay up in the bubbles, and look over out the window if it's a full moon and see the moon. And I just been reveling in that. That has been the one of the biggest blessings to moving. When we lived in New Jersey, in order to see the sun, I would always have to, and as much as my son enjoys the sunset, we would always have to, or the moon. I'm sorry, we would always have to run to the front door, open the door. He's like, "Mommy, the sun's setting and the moon's coming out." And now it's times I drive home if I have a late day, and I getting home about 6:30 and the moon is out, and I would text my wife like, "You see this moon? You see this moon?" And I've just been connecting spiritually on a different level. And although I'm hard on myself about not recording so many podcasts, I've just been getting to a space spiritually and emotionally that when I do start to record more, it's just gonna take the episodes to another level. And I just say that anything is um that you put that much effort to is worth waiting for. So again, I hope you everyone just is patient, and we're out here practicing mindfulness, self-care. We're communicating properly. I'm really trying to be I always try to be vulnerable and honest. And I think that's what makes me so relatable to people. And I have I can say I have several social media handles, and it depends on who you follow, what energy you let in. So a lot of times I can get a bit jaded because of the things I see on one of my social media handles is all, everyone needs some laughter and the funny memes. But on the other hand, we need uplifting, we need encouragement, and we need something to set our soul on fire. We need healing, right? And a lot of times people come to me to fill them up, and I'm so half empty myself. But it's just, and I don't know where I get the encouragement from, but I just dig deep in the love that I have for the person who's reaching out, and I feel the spirit of God move in me, and I just pour into people. And sometimes it's a lot, but it's so fulfilling when someone says, you know, well, I see the tone of the text message change, or I will comment on something that somebody says and it'll lighten their mood. Uh, Man, I just want everybody to be gentle with each other. Um, the world is going through a lot. Even if you up right now, even if you just got 5 promotions, you just bought a new house, you just got a new car, and you got a baby on the way, like life can be great for you, but on the other, there's always another end of the spectrum where somebody else is going through their down season, and I just think that we just need to be mindful of that. And so a lot of times I share my joy is because I've shared my sorrows and I've shared my disappointments. And I want to let somebody know that brighter days are coming. And it's hard to say, like when you in your losing season, it's very hard to say to somebody, hold on, brighter days are coming, and they've already begun to become jaded, and they've already become like, oh my God, I'm tired of this. Like, they're downtrodden. And so we have to find a way to share our winning season to where we're not kind of like tramping over people that's not going through such a great winning season. I'm not saying that um we can't be revel in our accomplishments, because there everyone fights to get to the top. And unless you walk into the 7-Eleven and you play the lottery and you come out a millionaire, everyone has, that I know, no one was has inherited anything. Everyone I know my age, literally, they bust their ass for whatever reason, and for their children, for their spouse, for their parents. Everybody has a survivor story, and I'm here for it. I just want us to be cognizant of the people that haven't gotten to their winning season yet, and kind of just come through every once in a while, social media, and check on your peoples, and communicate. Again, I've been reading, and I'm just trying to learn to communicate better. And sometimes communication is not saying nothing at all when you don't know what to say, right? And but because I'm married, and sometimes that's not an option. Sometimes my wife, especially if there's a disagreement, and I know that many women like that, because I'm like that. When you want to get your point across, you want to be heard. You don't want to wait until someone's ready to talk about it. Oh, you don't want to wait. It's just and that's just like with current events on what's going on in the news. A lot of times we're not ready to face the world. Like, the world every day is something different. Our head is spinning with worldly events, and we're just not ready to um address it. But a lot of times things affect us, and we can't keep putting our head in the sand and pretending that the world isn't slowly spinning off its axis, because it damn sure is. And at some point we have to gravitate and reach out and lift each other up, people that we don't normally lift up. I see a lot of things on social media, and there's a lot of causes that I want to help people with financially when I just can't. But I just send words of encouragement. Sometimes people just want to know that you see them, and that's all it takes, man. Is just to say, um, no, I see you, um, I feel you, and I'm praying for you. And honestly, or if you're not a religious person, I'm sending positive vibes in the universe for you. And check on your people. If you ain't heard from your people in a couple of, I have a best friend that texts me every day. And if I don't get a text by 1 o'clock, sometimes I'll let I give her a pass, and then if it's a short text message, I reach out the next day like, yo, what's up with you? What's going on? Anything good? Man, BFF, I'm going through it. You want to talk? Like, talk. And then there's friends that I haven't heard from, and I gotta like, um, my people's AK. I reached out to her recently about um my son has this fundraiser going on, and I shot her the link to donate. I haven't heard from her in a couple weeks, and when she hit me back, she was like, "Man, I got so much going on, and blah 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 blah." And I was a little upset because she hadn't checked in with me, right? And I'm like, "Man, if we peoples and you got all this going on, we gotta reach out. We gotta like hit up your peoples, that what's the word I want? Every time I have an idea in my mind or thought, and I turn this mic on, and it just goes to hell. Like, every thought that I have, it just like slips away, because I think I just want to say so much, and maybe I'm gonna start writing things down. But I hate this to be so scripted. where I feel like I'm reading, but I think I'm gonna start doing that more or less, writing down my thoughts so I can stay um on pattern. But anyway, if you want to hear my written thoughts, I blog as well, and you can catch my blog posts at www.acalendargirl.com. That's www.acalendergirl.com, acalendargirl.com. And that's my personal blog. And sometimes when I have thoughts that I think won't equate to an entire podcast episode, I definitely will just jot down a couple words. The last post I made recently was about remnants, what's left behind. That was a very short, powerful piece, and it was about what remains after breakups, what remains after grief, um, what remains after divorce. What remains after shifts. You know, um, it was a very short, powerful piece. So if you guys don't mind, please check that out at acalendargirl.com and subscribe so that way um you get the straight email whenever I'm feeling um to have a thought provoking um point that I would like to communicate. I kind of like put that in the blog. And so, back to what I was saying. So reach out to your people, communicate and let them know that you're there to lift them up. We need to be more uplifting as a community. And I would say not to strangers, but I see people that I know that's drowning. And if I haven't um sent my love to you guys, this is me sending my love to you now. So I'm just praying for everybody, and that we all are getting through, even the people that's pretending, because some of y'all still pretending like everything okay and it's really not. Y'all might go upload your best pictures and your best profiles to social media, but your heart is suffering. Your soul is being smothered. So I see you. Like, my spirit sees you. So I'm just sending you love and saying, like, it's okay not to have it all together. It's okay to struggle. But it's all about communication. Find your I always say two people gotta know your truth. That's your lawyer and your doctor. Right? Your lawyer can keep you out of jail, and you tell your doctor the truth, your doctor can keep you alive. Your lawyer, and then maybe your accountant can keep you out of jail. So with that being said, this was just kind of like, a little PSA, where I acknowledge that I need to do better, and that I'm gonna try to do better. But I've just been I need to do better in answering my purpose that God put on my life, and I haven't. And I just want to say that I'm not perfect, and I'm still getting this parenting thing right. I'm still getting this marriage thing right, and I'm still getting this author thing right. I'm still getting this writer thing right. I'm still grieving for my loved ones. There's no cure. I will constantly say there's no cure to grief. You could be having an amazing day, and then smack, and you like, dang, so and so dead. And those are the ways that I get about my loved ones. I could be having an amazing day, and I look over at my son, and he looking exactly like my brother, and I'm suddenly sad. And I could be having an amazing day, and I'll say something, and I'll sound like my grandmother, and then I'm amazingly sad. And I'll see my sister, and I live near my sister, and she looks like my mom, and I'll be amazingly sad. But we have to keep trying, keep getting up, right? And it's okay to fall down. We're gonna be sad in life, and even with, I'm noticing, like, people with things still aren't happy. So let's not be out here striving for things. Let's be out here and striving for peace. And that's also what God has been teaching me in my quiet period and during my readings is He's been giving me peace. And I think that I haven't had so much peace, so I'm kind of like scared to like to dive into the work because I don't want to lose my peace, y'all. I do not want to lose this peace, this feeling of I go to work and some days I work hard, some days I don't, but I come home to an amazing house and my wife and my son, and life is good. I'm not rich financially by far, but I have peace, and I'm working on myself and my happiness, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. So I'm just out here trying to find balance between what God has called me to do and my life, because sometimes He wants you to. Uh, your calling requires, sometimes your calling and your purpose requires a lot of you. So I'm just trying to find that balance. So when I give it my 110%, I don't lose myself. So that's all I really want to say is this was like this. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for always communicating. Thank y'all for y'all. What y'all need to do is start sharing this podcast more. I have a good number of viewers, but everyone is always in my inbox, my text messages. Oh, this is a great podcast. I love this episode. It touched me. Then share it. Like, share it. I'm about to get to the point where I can monetize it and do some. I just got an email where I'm going to be doing some advertisements. We'll get a couple of dollars. And ultimately, that's what we want to do. If I got more time, why can't I have this huge, amazing platform like everybody else? I just started a YouTube page. So when I get my little space set up at home, I'm going to be, there's going to be video. I had a couple of requests that people want to hear bring my son back. My wife's coming back, so I'm excited, and I promise I'm gonna get it going in the next couple of weeks. I just wanted to jump on and tell y'all that I'm still here. I'm still working. I'm still grinding. I'm still uh, loving life and God and working on myself, and I'm still sprinkling sugar in my grits. I still have gratitude for all that God has brought me through. I'm praying for you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And please share the podcast and the blog www.acalendargirl.com. And don't be afraid to communicate and lift somebody else up in these trying times. All right. Thank y'all so much for listening. Y'all be good.